Good morning. Um, I was asked to come and talk today on the basis of the fact that we were purchased in January 17th this year. Some of you might consider that to be a rather fortunate time with everything that's happened subsequent to that. But I think the main thing to do is to talk to you about what took me to the point in which we were going to be taken over by the Paragon Group, because we're now part of Paragon UK, working as a subdivision of Service Graphics. At the beginning of 2019, I was looking at the business as a whole. And for those of you who know us, we're primarily dedicated to serving the property industry in the Southeast. And we were looking at the fact that, contrary to the findings that were in the report, we were finding there was a margin squeeze that was going on within the industry, and there was an increased amount of competition with a lot of new people coming into the market. Now, the percentage of our turnover, which was around 18 million last year, that was actually directly represented by large format, was somewhere in the region of about 11 to 12 million pounds. And our new owners were less convinced about taking on a new source of revenue in some of the construction work that we were undertaking. So what we did is we spoke to them during the course of the year, with main conversations taking place from about April onwards, with a view of what we could do together. And the idea was that we wanted to do the first national offering for a property developer, where you could literally order the same things in Scotland as you could down in Cornwall. And this would give the much larger volume house builders an opportunity to have consistency of the brand throughout the country. This continues to be a key driver for what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis with Paragon and through Service Graphics. And we're currently in the process of setting up offices in Glasgow, Skelmersdale, Chippenham and Taunton, with probably more to be added. It was also important, the fact that Paragon are a particularly acquisitive company on a number of different levels. And in actual fact, they bought another 4 companies during the COVID period, although that having been said, that they aren't within the large format sector, although they are looking at other areas right now. But overall, I think the most important thing is that we were looking for not so much diversification, but we ran the numbers at the beginning of last year to show what the input would need to be to actually take us to a point where we could do that national level by springboarding through Birmingham and then further north. And simply the risk was too great. So to buddy up with somebody the size of Paragon, who are cash rich and highly acquisitive, with desires to build a much larger large format company, seemed to fit well with our own desires for the future. And working with Paddy Crean in the early stages was a highly inspirational part. And indeed, it was Paddy that, when we were talking to a couple of other parties in the early stages, was the reason why we moved forward. But as we are now, we're settled. We have moved through COVID. We are in a situation where revenues are returning. We did in March, we did take a very large drop in revenue, but we're back up to the sort of revenues that you would expect us to be at this particular time of year. And with the increased sales exposure that Service Graphics offers us through both its print and design divisions, and indeed us who are in display, the number of opportunities continue to grow. So in that respect, the decision, putting aside the fortunate timing of just before COVID, has worked out very well for us. That's probably where I am on a day like today with where we are and looking forward. We remain optimistic. New customers are coming to us on a daily basis, with a sales team of nearly 40 now, whereas we were a company of about 100. After a little bit of restructuring, we're down to about 70. But the thing is that was always going to happen post-acquisition anyway.
There's a couple of questions I just wanted to ask you, Will, if that's okay. I mean, are there specific areas where you've seen that the Paragon Group has added maybe more than you anticipated?
Yes, we ran a very different model to Service Graphics model, where they had a lot of salespeople. We retained a larger percentage of project managers who are responsible for the sales and actually seeing their projects all the way through to completion, because we have a lot of outsourced work that goes beyond what you would normally see as the large format, with metalworking, but it's even furniture. And I think that what the Paragon side has brought in through Service Graphics as well is the fact that we're actually doing an increased amount of retail work, which is supporting other parts of the business. And because of the fact that they bought Image Factory the same time as us, which is is a point of sale company, a lot of the opportunities that we have that previously we wouldn't have been able to service in a meaningful way are looked after perfectly well because of the size of the group. And equally, if they have overspill work, we take that on board within the print presses that we have in Brentford.
Okay, thank you.